Live from KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
And we start with late-breaking news out of Uvalde. Embattled Uvalde CISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo now on administrative leave. The district superintendent released that information in that letter that you're seeing right there. It was released online.
Arredondo has been at the center of this investigation and controversy in the days that followed over the way he reportedly handled or did not handle the initial response at Robb Elementary. Just yesterday, the head of the Department of Public Safety pointed largely at Arredondo for that response, calling it, quote, an abject failure in the shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Of course, we'll continue to follow this developing story.
Now, for the first time in nearly 4 weeks, DPS Director Steve McCraw addressed a state Senate panel, and he answered questions about the law enforcement response to that shooting at Robb Elementary.
State Senator Roland Gutierrez was in those hearings and was not satisfied with what he heard. Uvalde, by the way, is part of his state Senate district. He spoke to our John Paul Barajas, who is in Uvalde right now.
So, John Paul, what are we learning?
Steve, Stefania, according to State Senator Roland Gutierrez, he said there was 361 officers from 8 different agencies all here. 91 of them were state troopers, 12 of which were in and out of Robb Elementary. He said those 12 state troopers apparently took direction from no one, including the said-to-be incident commander, School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo, who is now, as mentioned, on administrative leave. He explained that's because none of the radios between any of the agencies were working properly, but did not have a clear answer as if it was because of signal issues or problems with radio compatibility. Gutierrez later added DPS Director Steve McCraw had explained there was enough officers and equipment on scene to stop the threat just 3 minutes after the gunman made entry.
Was there any clarification as to why DPS didn't take over the scene?
Said that it was procedurally not right, that doesn't happen, that you yield to the jurisdictional person in control. In this case, it was the schools.
Gutierrez tells us the DPS director later clarified that in an active shooter situation, that trumps all protocol, including that of incident commander. He also said he's tired of DPS pointing fingers when they should be telling the truth about every agency's failures, including their own. And this morning, the state senator filed a lawsuit against DPS for what he said was unlawfully denying his open records request. He hopes the judge rules in his favor. That way he can get that information in its totality. In Uvalde, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. We are nearing 1 month since the Robb Elementary massacre in Uvalde, and there have been many ways that horrible day has been described. None of them, however, can fill the silence the victims' families must be facing. One of the doctors who hoped to save their lives is not staying silent. Ursula Perry with why he put his stethoscope away that day and began to type.
Maybe by the time you see the story, you'll be able to read the words University Health Pediatric resident Dr. Tebra Bani wrote on KSAT.com, an op-ed written a month ago about what he saw and felt.
It was horrific, terrifying, somber, devastating. That evening after the tragic events, I came off my shift and I just started putting pen to paper.
Normally in a mass casualty situation involving an elementary school, a pediatric ER like this would go into high gear. But doctors need patients to work on. And in this case, they didn't have any.
So there are supervising nurses kept telling us, oh, we're going to get 14 kids, we're going to get 9 kids, we're going to get 15 kids. We heard there's 18 kids injured that are coming en route.
But no, 2 of those children would die on their way to San Antonio. And instead of the dozens of lives they expected to begin saving, only 1 arrived.
I did my part. I was ready. I was prepared. I am trained. I don't know who didn't do theirs.
His message goes deeper than that. He says he wants to make sure that this sense of helplessness doesn't fade into another news cycle.
I don't know who to direct my frustration towards, but I hope someone does something, because the number of patients that I should see with gunshot wounds should be 0. Anything above 0 is too many.
Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Now, since that tragic shooting, there has been a lot of talk about safety. A local company has a product aimed at protecting students and staff while they're at school. This morning, it showed KSAT what it calls bullet-resistant film. RJ Marquez was there for the live demonstration, and he shows us how it works.
Only system of its kind like that that will stop bullets.
This morning in Converse, A1 Glass Coating showcased its bullet-resistant film, a product they believe keeps kids safer in classrooms.
And this will stop most handguns. 9mm is the most common handgun.
The film is lined inside a window or glass on a door. Company spokesperson Michael Wenke says the solution on the lining then soaks into the glass.
The film acts as a backstop and basically holds everything together. Makes it 150% stronger than it normally would be.
The company says that if there were a potential shooter outside, the glass and that film would be able to stop a potential bullet from going inside the building. Now, if we switch gears a little bit, you'll see the film right here. Now, the interesting part of this is that a person inside, whether it's a security guard or a police ISD officer, would be able to shoot outside at that potential aggressor.
The aspect of shooting out versus in was very interesting.
Tim Satori was at the demonstration because his construction company was contacted by a school in Uvalde after the mass shooting there. He wanted to see the product first before going back to the school with a recommendation.
If there's a chance to prevent something from happening to children, that's first and foremost in their minds. And you can tell it in their hearts when they're talking to me.
Wenke said the company started installing this product 5 years ago at school districts, including Northeast ISD.
We've done over 100 schools here in Texas. And it is, again, it's a very effective system.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Switching gears now, today was the first day of the trial for a man accused of killing a 3-year-old boy back in 2017. Eric Trevino is facing a capital murder charge for the death of Rene Blancas Jr. Our Erica Hernandez tells us what happened today in court.
This is going to be a hard case for you here.
Prosecutor David Martin gave a brief but impactful opening statement to the jury. He laid out the evidence they would be presenting against Eric Trevino. Trevino charged with the 2017 shooting death of 3-year-old Rene Blancas Jr. The state says the boy's parents picked Trevino out of a lineup and owned a car matching the one at the scene.
This defendant and his mother had purchased a 4-door, goldish colored Honda Civic the day after a press release went out on the news. This defendant brought that car back and returned.
As for the defense, they say Trevino is innocent. The area where the shooting happened was poorly lit, according to the defense attorney, and said that the parents would not be able to identify Trevino.
What's really important about that intersection is completely pitch black. There's no lights anywhere around.
The defense also pointed to the Cadillac tattoos Trevino had, suggesting that Cadillac is the only car he drives and not the suspect vehicle, which is a Honda.
If you see on his forehead, he's got the word Cadillac. He's got a Cadillac emblem, if you look, thank you. He's got a Cadillac emblem down there.
One thing to note is the makeup of this jury. It is an all-female jury, which will be interesting to see if this plays in favor for the state or not. Testimony will continue tomorrow morning. At the Cadena Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Traffic right now, we're going to go to I-37 in Carolina, just south of downtown. As you see the tower and the Alamo Dome there, traffic moving along very smoothly. New at 6, more people dealing with homelessness in San Antonio seem to be going to shelters. That's according to a report from the South Alamo Regional Alliance for the Homeless, or SARA. It's paving a way for more access to long-term assistance and permanent housing, they say. But before all that happens, they need something else. KSAT's Camellia Juarez explains.
I'm 64. I've never 5 minutes of my whole life been like this before.
Meet Jim Wiley. He's always had a home, but that changed last month when the place he rented for 10 years got sold. He couldn't afford the rent anywhere else, so he and his dog Lucy became homeless. And he's not alone. Housing and Urban Development data shows homelessness among the elderly is rising. Most of them are on a fixed income, so they can't keep up with rising costs.
There's no way I could afford $1,020 a month.
Now, with permission, Jim is staying in someone's backyard. He uses their water hose.
I mean, it's bad enough during the heat.
In the meantime, Jim is waiting on an ID, something he hasn't had for years, but is essential in order for him to get back on his feet. Homeless outreach specialist Daniel Groven is helping him. He says the ID will make a huge difference for Jim.
That opens up everything. That opens up the shelter for him and Lucy. Data shows that the quicker an intervention can happen to get somebody off the streets, the more successful they will be in not returning to the streets.
Now Jim expects to get his ID in a few more days. He hopes that will lead to a more permanent living situation. He's very thankful to Daniel.
You are helping me out tremendously. I feel very comfortable with my situation that I'm in with you. If you wasn't partaking to my interests of where I'm in, then I wouldn't know what to do.
Now, the Sarah survey found a 30% increase in people moving to sheltered living spaces. The report ties this shift to partnerships like we saw with Daniel, the street outreach teams, as well as a partnership between the city and local nonprofits. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Camelia. All right, let's go outside right now.
Our south side city cam, 98 degrees right now. All right, just more of what we've been seeing all week. Right, Adam?
Yeah, and actually just a hair under 100 today. We'll look at the almanac later. The clouds throughout the day trying to get that vertical growth. We had some cumulus congestus, but around town we just didn't see any. Get enough of that vertical growth to generate a few showers. There are a few showers on the radar screen elsewhere. We'll look at those. Talk about increasing rain chances in the extended forecast. See you in a bit.
Uvalde is a very tight-knit community. We're a family. And so as a family, you reach out and you help each other out.
Helping people heal in the wake of tragedy. Tonight after the game, the growing effort to care for those in need and how the Resiliency Center is going to play a role in Uvalde's future. Also, a family forced to relive their heartbreak in hopes of getting justice. The mother of a 3-year-old murder victim is sharing her pain almost 5 years after her son's death. More powerful testimony from the first day of the Eric Trevino murder trial. It's tonight after the game.
It's a segment you've seen many times right here on the News at 6, KSAT Explains. Today, the team behind it received a Gracie Award for Best Local TV News Magazine. Anchor producer Myra Arthur and show creator Lexi Salazar accepted the award from the Alliance for Women in Media. The team honored for the episode explaining protective orders in Bexar County. Also in attendance were editor Valerie Gomez, former executive producer Brina Monterosa, news director Bernice Carney, and president and CEO of Graham Media, Catherine Badalamente. Congratulations to you all. By the way, here's a snippet of that episode.
You're never going to get away from me. I will always find you. I'll punish you through the children.
I don't want it on my conscience or on us that if something happens to this victim that we didn't put forth all the effort.
A protective order, you have to be able to speak to a pattern of behavior. The burden of proof is on us.
She was murdered outside of our office. There's no words to say.
The circumstances could have been very different for me. Possibly not even be sitting here.
If you pull out your phone and scan this QR code, you can watch the full KSAT Explains episode right now and see really all of the KSAT episodes. You can always head to our website at ksat.com as well. Very proud of the Explains team for what they accomplished.
Yeah, well deserved, certainly. All right, now 6:15, we want to help you get ready for the rest of your week. So here's Adam Caskey.
And guess what? More heat on the way.
Wow.
I know. Shocking everybody, right? But that's just through the weekend, okay? Early next week, I do foresee some noticeable changes around here. Yes, get me a little bit more excited every day as I get new information. It looks like the ingredients will be there for a weather pattern shift by Monday, and we're gaining confidence for some rain. Still cautiously optimistic, but at least our confidence is gradually rising for some slightly better rain chances. All right, let's talk about our June so far. We are on track. If June ended today, it would be the hottest June on record here in San Antonio. But as for 100-degree days in June, Well, already we're in the top spot for the most 100-degree days on record in June here in San Antonio. Records go back to 1885. The previous first placeholder, that was back in 2009 when we had 12 100-degree days in June. Already, we're above that. Today, however, 98. That was the high temperature. The record being 101 and the average being 93 degrees. So we're just shy of the century mark today officially in San Antonio. And you look across the state right now, mostly in the 90s, still hanging on to 100 in Laredo and even a few other locations. Cotulla, 102, 101 in Pleasanton. Those are the slightly warmer spots, but 98 officially in San Antonio, 98 New Braunfels, Rock Springs at 93 degrees. By and large, we're just well into the 90s, still feeling the heat. Bulverde 95, Comfort 94, and Uvalde now at 96 degrees. So let's talk temperatures tomorrow. In the morning, mid 70s locally. I think within 1604, about 75, 76. But then you get outside of San Antonio and outside of Bexar County, and we'll start the day in the lower 70s. By the afternoon, we're forecasting 100 degrees. That would be the 14th 100-degree day, and we should keep tallying them up in the days ahead. It's slightly below 100 once you get up into Kendall and Comal counties. But you look at the trend here in San Antonio. Tomorrow, Thursday, 100, Friday, 102, or I should say, Thursday 100, Friday 102, Saturday, Sunday about 101, and then Monday we dropped to 95. Tuesday I went there, upper 80s for temperatures on Tuesday. Yeah, that's with the pattern shift. So let's talk about rain and rainfall chances. First of all, you look at this radar imagery and, well, not all that impressive, but there are a few little pop-up showers right near Yoakum. We've got one little pop-up downpour, pretty much insignificant, not really going to leave much in the rain gauge at all, but I guess you could call it a bit of a morale boost. Others would look at it as just a tease, even around Pearsall. These are very short-lived. Between Sabinal and Utopia, we just had one over the past 30 minutes that has since really come to an end. But let's talk about the big pattern. The upper level heat high, it's starting to flatten out a bit. It used to reach all the way up to the Great Lakes. Now it's flattened out, and it's showing some signs of gradually weakening, and that's what we anticipate to continue in the days ahead. It's not going to happen right away. Still going to be in charge of our weather through the weekend, but by early next week, we actually introduced some slightly better chances of rain. I mean, we're up to 30% on Monday, and then we boosted it to 40% on Tuesday, so a little more numerous and the coverage a little bit better on Tuesday. But what's promising on Tuesday is we should have the ingredients around. Enough moisture in the air, a little bit of instability, and then also some lift to get things going, something to trigger the showers, and we could have some downpours at that time. So there's some hope for at least some pockets of heavy rain by early next week. Not everybody's going to see it, but of course we'll keep you updated on the changes as the days go by. 76 in the morning by the noon hour, 92 degrees tomorrow, wall-to-wall sunshine all day long, making it up to the century mark. And then we talked about that temperature drop. Yeah, right near 90 by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So some noticeable changes. Of course, we'll be fine-tuning the details and keeping you updated, so check back in.
Okay, Adam, thank you.
All right, we know the Spurs will be drafting tomorrow. They have potentially 3 first-round picks.
Yes, they do. Now, it depends on if they decide to keep them all or trade 1 or 2 to move up in the draft. Let's find out. We're going to take you live to New York when we come back. That's where we have our Larry Ramirez standing by in Brooklyn, where the draft will be held tomorrow night, live right here on KSAT 12. And do the Aggies get their revenge at the College World Series? Coming up. The most important draft in Spurs franchise history since the Silver and Black made Tim Duncan the #1 overall pick in the 1997 draft takes place tomorrow in New York. That's where the Spurs will have 4 picks to help rebuild the franchise after missing the playoffs for the 3rd straight year last season. 3 in the first round, beginning at #9 overall, and 1 in the second. We already have a crew in New York to cover this historic moment. Let's take you live right now to Brooklyn. That's where we find out Larry Ramirez, and I'm very jealous you're wearing a jacket, young man.
Well, Greg, it's needed. It's 62 degrees here right now, windy, and it's sprinkling, so it's definitely refreshing compared to San Antonio. Now, speaking of the draft, it is an exciting time for the Spurs and their fans. That's because San Antonio, as you just said, has a total of 4 picks in this year's draft. Now, with 3 of those picks coming up in the first round, the Spurs have exactly what they need and plenty of options to get better as they look to snap their 3-year playoff drought and become a championship contender once again. One of the names coming up at #9 9 overall, the Spurs' first selection tomorrow, is Baylor forward Jeremy Sohan. He's 6'9" and can play both the 3 or 4. He said leading up to the draft, he worked out for Oklahoma City, San Antonio, New Orleans, Sacramento, Cleveland, Indiana, and Washington. So he was asked how did he feel his workout with the Spurs went.
I think it went well. It was a good group of people, players, so I think it was really competitive, and we played really well. So I think the feedback was really good, and they stayed in contact. They've asked for a few other things, so I feel like it's an exciting place. I think I fit really well. I feel like just the style of play, the Spurs play, and then also just a young core. I think I fit really well in that.
The Spurs hold picks 9, 20, and number 25 in round 1 and pick 38 in the second round. So Sohan likes to dye his hair, and his game is very similar to Golden State forward Draymond Green. And coming up tonight on the Night Beat, Sohan will tell us how his game fits into the NBA. Greg, back to you from cold Brooklyn.
Very, very jealous. Thanks, Larry. From the court to the diamond after getting roughed up on Friday night, the Texas A&M Aggies looking for revenge against the Sooners with a spot in the College World Series finals on the line. Bottom of the first, Sooners Jimmy Crooks at the plate with 2 men on. This is the first pitch he sees, and he likes it. The deep shot to right clears the bases, puts the Aggies in a 3-0 hole early. That lead would balloon to 5 before the Aggies get on the board. Dylan Rock rocks his pitch to the seats and left. The solo home run makes it 5-1 OU. Sooners got a career performance from pitcher David Sandlin. They call him the Sandman, and for a reason. He puts the A&M bats to sleep. 12 strikeouts over 7 innings with 5 hits, only 1 run given up. The Sooners eliminate the Aggies from the College World Series 5-1. We are just over 2 months away from the first annual KSAT Pigskin Classic. That's 6 teams featured in 3 games on Saturday, August the 27th to help kick off the 2022 high school football season. Tickets are on sale right now at all Las Palapas locations in the city for just $15 each. That includes all 3 games inside the Alamo Dome. Smithson Valley and Reagan kicking off the triple header at 11:30, followed by Judson and Johnson at 3:30, capping it off with Steele and Brennan at 7:30 p.m. And if you can't make it to the Alamo Dome, you can see it all live right here on KSAT 12, starting with the pregame show at 11 a.m. For more information, just head over to the KSAT.com and check out our KSAT Pigskin Classic page that includes the benefits of becoming a KSAT 12 insider and suite sales. And again, we're getting closer, just 2 and a little couple of days out. 2 months.
I'm getting excited.
It's going to be special.
I've never done sideline reports, and I'm hoping that maybe I get the shot.
And you're on live television. Shock.
Gosh, yeah, I know. Not used to that.
Yeah.
So a business owner is on the run accused of ripping off his customers.
What he's accused of doing and how. Next in a KSAT Defenders investigation.
I'd like to see the guy thrown in jail. That's not going to get me my money.
His sign says window replacement done right, but a growing list of customers say this business owner has done them wrong, taking in thousands and thousands of dollars from them before closing up shop and just like that, skipping town.
We're talking about the Republic of Texas Window Company and its owner, Hunter Townsend. He's a convicted felon with a long history of theft.
And in this Defenders report, he tells our Dylan Collier why he's afraid of his own clientele.
A few of the windows we were going to get replaced.
Heike Heath was hoping to upgrade the windows of her and her husband's Garden Ridge ranch house when in February they thought they'd found quite a deal. Republic of Texas Window Company and owner Hunter Townsend agreed to order the windows and then install them early this summer for just over $8,500. But after the couple returned from an out-of-state trip, something was amiss.
June 1st, I tried to call and none of the numbers were working.
Townsend had up and disappeared.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Taking the Heath's deposit of more than $7,300 with him.
Yeah, we're offended, we're hurt.
Both warehouses listed for Republic of Texas, one in Selma and one near the airport, have been deserted. His Schertz area home is also vacant. Some have speculated that Townsend has relocated to the Corpus Christi area. A sudden departure as his criminal history comes into focus. It's a criminal record spanning nearly 20 years in several Texas counties and includes convictions for theft multiple times, forgery, and even felony family violence. Townsend did not answer a phone call from the defenders for this story, but did send us several text messages denying that he had committed theft and writing that he left town because of threats made to him and his family, and that he, quote, did not want a disgruntled customer to possibly scare our children at our home.
I think it's baloney.
73-year-old victim Leo Guarnieri isn't buying it.
People just want their windows, or they want the return of their money. Doing harm to him or his family that's a ludicrous thought. That's a cover-up for why he left town.
Guarnieri used a different company for his upstairs windows, but this time around had hoped to save around $4,000 by using a different company and a different contractor, Republic of Texas. It's a decision he now regrets. Nearly 5 months later, the retired naval chaplain is out more than $6,400, and the lower level of his Canyon Lake home still doesn't have new windows. Guarnieri is among the now more than 20 people who told the defenders they paid Townsend a deposit and haven't heard from him since. Many victims have filed complaints with the state attorney general or law enforcement, hoping that this felon turned window installer turned phantom is tracked down and held accountable for his actions. To date, Townsend has not been charged criminally or his company found liable for any of the accusations levied against him by customers the past 6 weeks.
Even if I don't get my money back, I don't want him just to get away with that.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
At least 2 other victims say they were able to get their banks to temporarily reimburse them while conducting independent fraud investigations. Other victims are worried that law enforcement will tell them to handle it as a civil matter. The victims you heard from in this story actually tell us that they have been told by Comal County Sheriff's investigators that the elements of a criminal offense have not been met. Republic of Texas Window Company aired commercials monthly on KSAT from last September until early this May, before Townsend said he had to put the advertising campaign on hold due to shipping delays.
So Bexar County needs more prosecutors, and yes, that has a direct impact on you. Joining us now live to talk about that is District Attorney Joe Gonzalez.
Mr. District Attorney, thank you so much for joining us. You're trying to get the county to increase the salary for prosecutors. Where are you in that process? And is pay why people are leaving, or is it just another side effect that we seem to be seeing after COVID, where people are just leaving jobs and not coming back to the workforce?
Well, first of all, good evening, and thank you for having me. It is let me answer the first part. We've submitted a budget request. Hopefully, they will review it and make some decisions later this summer. But what we are finding, yes, we are seeing resignations of our prosecutors at a lot higher rate than normal. Typically, we lose 20, 21 at the end of the year. We're only at half of the year. We've already lost 27. And I've done some unofficial research, and I've figured out the problem is it's what we all have identified as a post-pandemic phenomenon called the Great Resignation. That is, after COVID, people realized they could do their job at home. And so a lot of the civil law firms have lost their employees. So what they're doing naturally is recruiting prosecutors. That's just a natural, target, because they're already trained. They already have trial experience. So what they're doing is they're recruiting them from our offices. They're offering them pay that we cannot compete with. So the people that are left behind are having to do double the work. It is just a tremendous amount of pressure for them. It's a round the clock job. It doesn't end at 5. They go home late. They work through their lunch. It's just overwhelming. If you would have heard some of the stories yesterday in front of Commissioner's Court about the kind of cases they deal with, a lot of them take it home with them, especially the really violent cases, the sexual assault, especially of children, the murder cases, the capital murder, and it's overwhelming. And some of them, I don't blame them that they're going to smaller offices for more pay with lighter caseloads. Some counties only have to be in court 2-3 times a month. We have to be in court every day, all day long. So we can't compete with someone that wants a better quality of life. So that's the challenge. couple that with the fact that we can't attract new lawyers because we can't pay a competitive salary. They're going to civil law firms that are paying six figures. Our starting pay in Bexar County is $65,000. When you think about someone that's gone through college, gone through law school, is now paying law school loans, and you're asking them to come to work for $65,000 a year, compared to Harris County, for example, they pay their entry-level prosecutors $86,000. So that's more than $20,000 what we offer our entry-level prosecutors. So all we're asking is to give us an opportunity to compete at the marketplace, to hire new talent, to keep the good people that we that we have now, because it's an issue of public safety. We have to keep working on these cases. We have to keep our community safe.
Okay, we want you to stay right there because we're going to take a break, and then we'll see you on the other side of that break when we come back.
Sure.
Thank you. Welcome back. If you're just joining us now, this is District Attorney Joe Gonzalez from Bexar County, and we've been talking about the fact that Bexar County is losing a lot of prosecutors. You're trying to do your best, Joe, to hire more prosecutors, but it's a difficult thing. And now I want to ask you, how do you get the point across to people that this really impacts everyone, that everyone should care if we don't have enough prosecutors in our county?
Well, I think we are getting the point. We had to go public at some point. I have seen this for many months, as I say, coming back from COVID, and it was time for us to speak out. It was time for the public to know. Yesterday, we made a presentation to Commissioners Court to let them know. And let me just say, Commissioners Court has been very supportive of us from the beginning. From the day that I walked into this office, they have been very supportive in giving us funding for things like pay raises for investigators, cars for them to have to transport witnesses, and on and on. So let me just say that. But we have this prosecutor issue that we've got to do something about, because what are we going to tell victims of crime? Sorry, we can't get to your case because we don't have enough people. We can't do that. We won't do that. And that's why we do what we do. That's why our prosecutors work around the clock, give up their weekends, give up their time with their family, because they are committed. Somebody said that in an interview. One of our prosecutors said, look, this is not a job for me. It's a calling. It's what I do. And I'm going to continue to do it because I believe in fighting for the victims of crime. And all we're asking is that we please have the opportunity to keep the good people that we have, and we recruit people at the law schools and people that they want to do this, but they have bills to pay. They got to be able to live. They got to be able to put gas in their cars. And so hopefully we'll get some relief soon. By the way, they just approved a 5% cost of living raise for everybody across the board in the county. So that's going to help. But again, we need to keep pushing to do more. Retain our prosecutors.
It's really a double whammy, though, Joe, too, because you have the backlog of cases that haven't been seen because of COVID, and now you have a lack of prosecutors. You said 20 to 21 in a year is normal, 27 so far this year. Are you seeing this in other counties as well? I mean, have you talked to other district attorneys in Texas that are seeing the same thing?
Absolutely. Like I said, I did some independent research, and I've talked to other prosecutors in DA's offices, not only in Texas, but across the nation. I've spoken to prosecutors in Georgia, in Delaware, in Virginia, in the West Coast, and for example, Houston and Dallas. I've been having talks with them. They're experiencing the same thing. The difference is they can attract new people because they have a larger pool of lawyers to replace them. We don't have that luxury here. So, but it's offices. It's a nationwide phenomenon, and not just with lawyers, but other industries, engineers, doctors, you name it. I'm sure it has affected your industry as well. And so that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to bring awareness of this problem so that we can do something about it now. Obviously, I'm sounding the alarm because I don't want to wait till it's too late, but hopefully we'll get some relief soon.
Yeah, we certainly don't want this to affect people's search for justice at the end of this whole thing. District Attorney Joe Gonzalez, always appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Yes, my friends, we have had yet another hot day, but some good news. We are getting some pop-up showers right now.
Yeah, a few. Very few, but some lucky folks out there are actually getting some of those brief little downpours. And there is a shift in our weather pattern anticipated in the days ahead. Now, you look at the big picture and not a whole lot of activity out there, but there is some dotting the landscape here and there. Again, not a drastic amount of rain, but there is some in some parts here and there, especially just southwest of San Antonio along I-35 and farther to the east of town, closer to Hallettsville. Again, not much, but it's a little bit of something. And you look at our rain chances in the days ahead, and they actually rise a little bit by next week. It's going to be more of the same through Sunday, and actually wall-to-wall sunshine pretty much every day through Sunday. Then by Monday, we're up to 30%. Tuesday, slightly better coverage out there, up to 40%, and that puts us in the scattered category. So we are gaining a little bit of confidence in those rain chances for early next week, but cautiously optimistic, because when in drought, usually drought is what continues, and even far off rain chances often don't pan out, but we're starting to get a little bit closer now, and we're gaining a little bit of confidence. If everything pans out, the ingredients should be there, and some showers should be dotting the landscape. 98, that's next week, by the way. 98 degrees currently, dew point is 63. Feels like it's 2 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. Dew points, for the most part, in the low to mid 60s, but there's a wide range out there. Some upper 50s. Converse right now, dew point of 59 along with Castroville, but Port SA 63, Bulverde even muggier at 66. Air temperatures right now, 90s. Right near 100 in Castroville, but 99 Stinson, 98 Converse. And I do think we'll start the day tomorrow in the mid 70s, some lower 70s outside of San Antonio, but 76 at 7 a.m. A lot of sunshine throughout the day. It's going to quickly warm us up. And by noon, we make it to 92 degrees. Nothing but sunshine and not a lot of wind either. A southeast wind, maybe 5 to 8 miles per hour. So not much relief from the wind. And then 100 degrees for the high. And we'll have the typical routine of very muggy conditions early and then a little drop off in the humidity by the afternoon hours. More specifically, 106 Cotulla, 102 Beeville and Pleasanton. Carrizo Springs about 103 tomorrow. Lackland area, get west side of town, 102 along with Von Army. 98 Leon Springs and Timberwood Park. Seguin about 101. Stone Oak at even 100. By Friday, 102 is what we're expecting. Saturday and Sunday, about 101 with wall-to-wall sunshine all the way through the weekend. Then the changes hit, and there you go on Monday, down to 95. It's an improvement, baby steps, with that 30% chance. On Tuesday, that's the day we're still honing in on. I went there. I dropped us into the 80s. 89. Barely, but hey, that's where we're going right now. Of course, that 40% chance on Tuesday. And again, if it all pans out, we could actually have some non-severe thunderstorms with some downpours by Tuesday. So there's some hope. Again, cautiously optimistic, but at least right now we're gaining some confidence in this. And of course, this is going to change, so check back for updates.
That's what I was going to say. I know as we get closer, things will get more certain, but yes. 3 days of rain chances, I'll take it.
Yeah. In case you missed it, coming up next.
Here's today's In Case You Missed It.
It is Wednesday. It is June 22nd.
Her name is Amerie Jo Garza. She's one of the 19 students killed at Robb Elementary. And today, nearly a month after the massacre unfolded inside that Uvalde school, we're hearing from her father and grandmother about what the investigation has revealed and what it hasn't revealed thus far.
We have to make things right. We need to get down to the bottom of everything that has happened and find out the truth.
I just don't get how you can hear these kids, crying and asking for help. But you're scared to enter because your commander doesn't want you to go in.
We are still working to learn the name of a man found dead in his Northeast Side apartment overnight. Officers called to the scene by a neighbor who had heard gunshots around 1 a.m. Investigators say that the victim had been shot in the head. Right now, they're trying to figure out who killed him.
A breakthrough of sorts on Capitol Hill. The United States Senate coming to a compromise on gun reform and a bill that has bipartisan support.
It includes $750 million for crisis intervention prevention programs, and closing the boyfriend loophole, meaning guns are taken away from people in serious relationships who are convicted of domestic violence.
KFC has a new, unique way to make sure its food is finger-licking good. The fast food chicken chain now offering finger sporks with its side dish meal. So the finger spork replaces the handle on the restaurant's most popular eating utensil with a place for your fingers.
So this isn't a full opening, but parts of Yellowstone National Park are now open to visitors after historic flooding led to the closure of all 5 entrances last week. And this morning, look at that line. People were lining up to get in. The park's southern loop is now open with limitations based on license plate numbers. And the northern loop, that's expected to reopen within 2 weeks.
By then, about 80% of the park will then be open to visitors. The National Park Service director announcing today about $50 million will be used toward recovery of the park after these devastating floods that they had there. It'll be used to restore temporary access to Gardner and Cook City, Montana, along with other sites in Yellowstone.
On my bucket list.
Yeah, mine too.
Go there. Yeah.
And we actually have a few little showers that have popped up. Natalia, and even just on the southwest side of San Antonio. Don't blink. There you go, over Von Army over the past 30 minutes. More changes next week.
All right. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the night.
See you after the hot.